Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Beth, or SB Moravsky. I'm the Associate Director of Career and Professional Development here at DU, and I'm here to talk to you about the internship and job search and how to do this during a pandemic. And this is a part of our awesome Family Connections Week that we have this week. So I'm really excited to let you know some of the tips and tricks for finding a job or an internship during this still very difficult time. So before I dive into it, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we do in the Career and Professional Development Office. So some of the things that our advisors can do for you are anything from major and career exploration. So if you're not sure exactly what major you want to be, or trying to decide what can you specifically do with this major, your career advisor can help you navigate this process. Another thing that we can do, kind of our bread and butter, as I like to say, are resume and cover letter reviews. So just what is a resume? What is a cover letter? What are some good practices with these two documents? I sometimes think the resume and the cover letter are the hardest part of the career and professional development process. So I kind of want to help my students put their best foot forward in that aspect. And once you get the resume and cover letter done, everything gets a little more easier from there. And of course, we can help with the job and internship search, which I will talk about in a little bit. And just how to navigate that process based on what industry you want to go into, or what kind of position that you want, what company you want to work for. So that's something that we can absolutely help with. And then LinkedIn is sometimes an elusive topic with a lot of students, but I've noticed a lot of industries are using LinkedIn to assess candidates for jobs and internships. So now is the time to have a LinkedIn profile. So we can talk about what LinkedIn is, what to have on your LinkedIn, how to start connecting with people, how to utilize it for networking and things of that nature. And then something else that we can provide as a resource is career fair preparation. So my team puts on a career fair every single quarter. For right now, they are virtual, but we also will eventually and hopefully have in-person career fairs when the time is right. So your career advisor can help you kind of decipher what is a career fair and what do I do with my hands and what does a virtual career fair look like, because that's a whole new thing. So another really great resource that we have. Probably the best resource that I think that we provide in my department are interview skills and practice, or as I like to call them, mock interviews. I wish I took advantage of this in my undergrad. It would have saved me from a lot of embarrassing situations and experiences, but interviews, they can be really overwhelming and anxiety inducing. So the practice certainly makes perfect when it comes to interviews. And then of course we can help with graduate school applications. So if graduate school is in your future and in your goals or plans, we can help you navigate that process as well. And then my favorite, salary negotiation. This is particularly important to me because I feel it's really important for my students to know what their worth is, and depending on their location that they're applying for the opportunity for, the job, the experience level, things of that nature. It's a weird topic to talk about, but I find it to be very important. And one thing to consider with the Career and Professional Development Office is that your career advisor is going to be your career advisor up until a year after you graduate. And after that year mark hits, we just move you over to our alumni career and professional development team. So you're pretty much stuck with us for life. Or you can utilize us as little or as much as you want throughout your entire career, but just know that we are here for you and here to support you even after you graduate. And for more information, I definitely encourage you to go to www.career.du.edu for more information. We have a fun blog post up there. You can meet the team. You can see some of the other resources that we have. So all around, great website. Some of the other things that we offer that I like to touch upon, and this is part of the exploration process. So some of you might have heard of these already, but your career advisor can offer you assessments that you can take. So if you're not really sure what you want to do, or you just really don't have any idea, these can be really helpful. And it's always good to kind of talk it out. So it can be supplemental to that. So we offer MBTI, we offer strong interest inventory, and we also offer Strengths Quest, or some of you might be familiar with Clifton Strengths. So we do offer these. So basically what happens is that you take the assessment and your career advisor will set up an appointment that you can kind of discuss your results, what they mean, what they can mean for the career path that you might want to go down, etc. So just wanted to highlight those as well. So the agenda today, what I want to talk about diving deep into the job and internship search, specifically during this pandemic, just additional tools to staying organized, an industry recruiting timeline, some online resources, and just some other opportunities besides just jobs and internships. And also I'll go over how to make a target employer list and just a summary of doing the search and making those search strategies. So organization, especially during this time, is going to be imperative for your success finding a job or an internship. So I highly recommend, however you best organize information, to organize your job search either on your computer, in a Google Doc, in a Dropbox. This example on the screen right now, this person has put up separate folders for every single job application that they're applying to. When it comes to job applications, you want to make sure that your resume, cover letter, and any other application materials are as tailored to the position as possible. So this person has a specific resume for this specific position, a specific cover letter, maybe different references, things like that. So organization is key. It also helps to make the process a little less overwhelming, because some of you might be applying for several or like dozens of internships and jobs. So keeping organized the best way that you can is going to be your best friend. So just wanted to highlight that as well. Another thing I wanted to touch upon, so going back to the organization phase, so if you don't really want to use your computer or Google Doc or an Excel spreadsheet, there are some job organization apps you can use on your phone. The ones that have an asterisk near them are for iPhone users only. So sorry to my Android users, but there are plenty for both as well. So if you really like, organizing things on your phone, this is a good opportunity. Jobware, Rake, Job Here, Job Track. This is another way for you to organize that job and internship search process. So just wanted to highlight those as well. And then the industry recruiting timeline. So this is going to vary, and COVID and just the pandemic in general has maybe shifted this a little bit, but this is a pretty good idea of what you're going to be looking at in terms of industry. So you can see early fall, late summer, that's when a lot of investment banking, market research, government positions, IT positions, that's when they're going to be recruiting for the next year. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only time they're going to be recruiting, but that's probably the most popular time. And then some of the ones that you'll see in April of that next year are going to be startups, nonprofits, in the environmental industry, outdoor, recreational industry, sustainability, things like that, like those are going to be in April and May. And then everything in between, such as advertising, education, marketing, and consulting and finance and management and leadership, those are also the industry timelines that you see here. Pretty accurate depiction on when you'll see the most applications. And again, this isn't the end all be all, but just a good benchmark to have with your specific industries. So competitive, one thing I do want to point out is with government positions, competitive government positions and those requiring background checks, those usually start to begin recruiting in October. For the year after that. So other government positions recruit on a rolling basis throughout the year. So if you don't need a background check, those government positions will recruit and post their positions when they want to hire. So it's less of like a strict deadline sort of process. And here are some resources that are available. So at DU, we have something called Pioneer Careers Online, or PCO, as I like to call it. And we have a whole entire job and internship database on there. So all students have access to that, whether they're undergrad, grad, doctoral, law students, everyone has access to this. And then LinkedIn is also a great resource. I mentioned LinkedIn earlier. Not only can you kind of highlight your experience on there, but you can also find jobs on LinkedIn. So it's pretty cool. If, going internationally or doing a global search for your job or an internship is on the docket for you, Going Global is a really great website. And so, of course, Indeed, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Indeed before. Indeed's a great job website. They have a little bit of everything, really. And then Idealist is really good for if you're interested in the nonprofit sector, sustainability, conservation, things like that. Some of the Colorado and engineering specific. So the reason why I say engineering is Colorado is pretty big on the tech industry. So I wanted to highlight that as well. So you have Andrew Hudson's job list. That's very Colorado specific, and they have all different types of industries. Built-in Colorado has a mix of tech and data and marketing, and really focuses on the startup industries in Denver. And then Colorado Clean Tech Industry Job Board, and then of course the Colorado Nonprofit Association. So these are some specific search engines that I would definitely recommend. You can also work with your career advisor to find even more specific job and internship search engines that you can use, but utilizing these is going to be a lot more effective than, let's say, a Google search, because I know that some of us may have done that in the past and regret it. So there's not just jobs and internships, there's more. So I want you to know what's out there. There's nationally competitive fellowships. So some of these might sound familiar, like Fulbright and Pro Fellow. Princeton in Asia is a really great fellowship, and their mission is really having fostering this mutual appreciation and cultural understanding. So it's really great for service-minded individuals who want a really immersive experience in a different country. And then Fulbright is a pretty popular and well-known fellowship. So the Fulbright U.S. student program provides grants for individually designed study and research projects, or for English teaching assistant programs. So you can really customize it to your own interest. So if you're really interested in research, great fellowship to go for. Or if you're interested in teaching English in a different country, that's also a really good way to do that. And then Boren, this one is more geared towards public service. So if you want to work in the federal government, Department of the States, Defense and Homeland Security, and USAID, this is a really good fellowship to go for as well. And a good place to find different fellowships is Pro Fellow. And it's a website devoted to fellowships. So you can find a lot on there. And it's all encompassing of all the fellowships offered. But I wanted to highlight these just so you know them. Another opportunity is a service year. So again, some of these might sound familiar, such as Peace Corps and AmeriCorps. Peace Corps is a really great volunteer program. It's run by the US government, and you can go abroad and provide social and economic development through either technical assistance or providing and promoting mutual understanding between Americans and whatever population you are serving through that program. Then AmeriCorps is really great for individuals who again are into public service or teaching, and their main goal is to help others and meet critical needs in the communities that they serve. So great service year opportunity. City Year is a nonprofit organization focused in education. So you can help students in schools, and it partners with public schools in 29 different high needs communities across the US. And there's some international opportunities in the UK and Johannesburg, South Africa. And then the Student Conservation Association. So if you're interested in environmental science, sustainability, conservation, it's a nonprofit group in the US. And they build kind of the next generation of conservation leaders. So if this is something that you're really interested in, great service year opportunity. And then this one's pretty popular as well. They like to call, I know individuals call it woofing. So it's the Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. So if working on a farm in a different country for a year or so sounds really appealing to you, I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun, honestly. And working in hospitality services and the food industry, really great opportunity. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight some of those. So it's not just about jobs and internships. And then there's also research experience. So if you're really interested in research, and you don't necessarily have to be a STEM student to do research, it can be in any specific discipline. REUs are research experience for undergraduates, and this is a whole database and system that students can use. And this program supports different active research participation. It's for undergraduate students, and all of the research is funded by the Natural Science Foundation. And then DU specific, there are a ton of opportunities in individual campus departments, whether you're in psychology, marketing, biological sciences, mechanical engineering. There's a ton of research experiences available right at DU, and with probably some of your professors. Co-ops are one of the last opportunities that I want to highlight today. So co-ops are traditionally full-time paid positions. So co-ops tend to last longer than, one season or one term, unlike internships. So they often take place, internships often take place in the summer, and the co-ops usually last for a year or so, maybe 10 months. They're pretty popular in the tech and engineering field, but I've also seen them pop up in finance, and they're spreading in popularity to a lot of different industries. So something to think about. And LinkedIn, Indeed are good places to search for these co-op opportunities, as well as the individual organization websites. DU has a partnership with a couple of different co-ops. I think it's more on the engineering and the business side, but always a good thing to research. And the reason why I wanted to bring all these up, one of the biggest things that you can do to be successful during this time is to be flexible. So staying organized, being flexible are probably going to be your two biggest strategies that you need to utilize. And I promise it's going to be more helpful. So that's why I wanted to highlight some other opportunities besides just jobs and internships. And then going back to organizing, one of the biggest things I tell my students is to make a target employer list. So you can be creative with this. You can either create a list just with possible employers that you would like to work for, or you can use the list to kind of highlight opportunities as well. So you can do this in an Excel spreadsheet, a Google Doc, your phone, whatever suits your needs best. But it's a really great place to kind of focus your job and internship search. So you can begin building a list of some top organizations or opportunities where you would like to work after graduation or for internships while you're a student at DU. And this is a living, breathing document. So you can add to this list regularly, maybe with a goal of having 20 target organizations by the time you graduate. I usually tell my students, especially if they're looking for internships, try to stick to like 7 to 9 at the moment, and then make it and allow it to grow as you go further into your time at DU. Another way to organize is to pick specific locations that you would want to work for. Sometimes I'm working with students and they're like, I don't really care where I am. Like I could be anywhere in the world and that's fine with me. That's a good attitude to have, but it can become overwhelming very quickly. So I always recommend picking at least just a couple of different regions, or if you want to work in the US, maybe a couple different cities or states. If you want to look a little more globally, a couple of different countries, but let's kind of hyper focus on those specific locations instead of just applying everywhere and anywhere. I promise that makes it a little less anxiety inducing and again allows us to hyper focus on our job and internship search. So how are people actually finding opportunities right now? So this list is pretty recent and not a lot has changed between 2017 and 2021. People are still finding internships and jobs by applying directly to the organization. They're still finding it with professional networking connections. So those networking connections might look a little differently than they did in the past because a lot of these are going to be virtual, but still the same goal. And then some other ways, they're going to DU events such as the career fair, workshops, seminars, employer visits, networking events. So these are just some of the ways that individuals are finding opportunities that they pursue, whether it's an internship, job, or something else. So in general, with your search strategy, you got your connections, you got your target employers and or locations, you apply online, and this funnels down to the best internship or job ever. And this is a very simple way to kind of talk about it and put it, but this is the main point of the job and internship search process. And during this time, during the pandemic, you know, making it as easy for yourself as possible is going to make a big difference. And here at DU, the Career and Professional Development Office and our career advisors, our employer connections team, we are all here to help you with this process. So I want you to kind of leave this presentation with a little bit of a reframe. So in COVID-19 times, 95% of employers are not revoking full-time offers to recent graduates, which is great to know, especially when the pandemic was first going on. This was a big fear for a lot of my students, but for the most part, companies aren't revoking full-time decisions, or offers as well. And then 78% of employers are not revoking offers for summer internships. So that's great too. And then industries are still hiring, including healthcare, of course, software, tech, support, customer service, pharmacies. I'm seeing an uptick in the tourism and hospitality industry, which we didn't necessarily see last year. So that's great as well. And this is from the National Association for Colleges and Employers, NACE. So just wanted to do a little bit of a reframe. So that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you have some tangible things to take away from this presentation. We at the Career and Professional Development team are here for you, especially during this difficult time. We offer in-person and virtual appointments. We offer drop-ins. We're in our brand new building, the Burwell Center. So really exciting. So definitely come check it out if you haven't already. And again, go to career.du.edu for a bunch of different resources, including our video library, our blogs, and to also book an appointment with your career advisor. And again, I am Sarah Beth Moravsky. I am the Associate Director of Career and Professional Development here at DU. And I don't think I mentioned this previously. I specifically advise all of our STEM undergraduate students. And we have career advisors that advise every single type of discipline and industry. So whatever major you are, you will find a career advisor who is an expert in that industry. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me today. And I hope you have a great rest of your Family Connections week. Have a great rest of your day.